Sean, this video can be incredibly painful to watch. It shows a 9-year-old being handcuffed and handled by a D.C. police officer. This happened last night around 7 o'clock at 14th and Girard Streets Northwest. We'll let you hear it for a few seconds first.
What did he do?
Where's his parents?
And here's that video full screen. We've blurred both the officers and the child's faces. Both police and the boy's mom say this started when the boy was leaning on a car. Police told him to get off. He talked back to the officer, who then gave chase. You see the officer bring the boy down to the ground and wrestle with him for a bit to put him in cuffs. The boy was screaming nearly the entire time. He even soiled his pants during the tussle. We spoke to both the boy and his mom a few hours ago, and get this, she also works in law enforcement.
I was devastated. I was traumatized for my son having to go through that. His use of force was unnecessary. My son was not a threat. He was not committing a crime. He was not harming anyone. It should have never been to that.
And with Autumn Drayton's permission, we spoke to her son about what happened to him. I asked him how he felt in those moments when he was being handcuffed. Listen.
Scared.
Why?
Because I was in handcuffs. I thought it was locked up. It hurted.
And the mom says that she was never contacted by D.C. police. She found out what happened through a family member. Police say that they are investigating that officer's actions right now. The child was not charged and was released to his parents. At 10:45, we are going to have more with a one-on-one with Police Chief Peter Newsham about this incident and those other high-profile juvenile incidents.
You talked about some of those. It reminds me of those incidents on Capitol Hill. Police handcuffed a 10-year-old boy during a robbery investigation back in March. Officers also handcuffed or conducted a controversial stop and frisk of some young boys in Southeast back in January. What exactly is police protocol for dealing with kids young like this when their parents aren't around?
Well, Sean, I think it's important to mention in that first case you talked about, that boy was eventually cleared. There was video that showed he was not actually a suspect in that robbery. So, in fact, they had the wrong 10-year-old that they had handcuffed in that situation. But in general, the protocol, according to orders, is to contact a supervisor when dealing with children under 12. It's also to contact a representative from Youth and Family Services Division. That is the section of MPD that deals specifically with children. So they are supposed to be consulted during these cases. We've seen that that doesn't always fully happen. We're unclear if that happened in this case and some of the other ones. The Youth and Family Services Divisions were contacted, but a lot of times we're seeing that the parents are finding out about this not from police, but from other means and family members, people there on the scene.
All right, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this coming.
Last resort. At-large council member Robert White Jr. tweeted the video was appalling and said it's time to change the policy.
What happened there was absolutely unnecessary. As a parent, it was devastating to me. I imagine what my reaction would be if I saw one of my children being treated like this by the people who really are here to protect them. And for this young man and his friends, I have to understand the impact that that's going to have on them and their trust of the police. When I read the police guidelines, unfortunately, they say that even if a child is detained and arrested, you handcuff them. That is not okay. That is not right. And so we need to see not just a change, but we need to see it happen aggressively and urgently.
And police have not given us the police report on that 9-year-old situation being handcuffed. It's more than 48 hours later. Coming up at 11, we're going to talk about what we found when we started digging into other area policies, other jurisdictions in our area, their policies when it comes to handcuffing and children. That's coming up at 11. Back to you guys.
Evan, a lot of people have sounded off about this case on our social media channels. And the one question a lot of viewers have is what's going to happen with the officer who was involved, who handcuffed that boy?
Well, Jim, we know that that officer is under investigation, his actions under internal investigation right now, but we have learned today that he is on full duty, so he's out patrolling the streets during this investigation. Jim.
Evan Lambert, thank you.